And we back like broad straps is Voch Lombardi. Let's take a look at the safeties, in which there are plenty of them that I like. We're going to do a top 10 though. Like I always say, these are just guys that I liked. If I left somebody off the list, that doesn't mean they're trash. Shit, there's only 10. So with that being said, you're 11th. You know what I mean? So whatever. I like these guys though. So there are a few frees, a few strongs. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. I got 3 true free safeties on here. Now there are some guys that can play strong, some guys that dabble in some free, but they normally play strong or whatnot. But I think free safeties are rare, and there are certain traits associated with free safeties that make them even more rare, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Just having a guy like a true free safety to me is somebody that can play all the coverages, every single one of them. Now some free safeties can, like they'll do fine in cover 3, where they're only responsible for the brackets, for inside the hash marks or whatnot. There are cover 2 free safeties that you kind of feel for them, like on the halves. Like you can patrol half the field. I wouldn't let you do the whole thing. But then there's those rare guys, those Earl Thomas guys, those Malik Hooker guys. Malik's not as good as Earl, but Malik does have the ability to cover all the field. In a cover 1 type situation, you're 1 high, you're in the middle of the field, and a deep ball could go to either side of the field. You got to have the football IQ and the intelligence to get to that side of the field from the middle of it. That's a rare trait. That's special to me, right? So with that being said, I don't normally give out good free safety grades, and when you get a good free safety that can do all that stuff, you got to be able to nab those guys. I'm really gonna break down some of the traits on these guys, but most of them are strongs, and that's okay, because most safeties are strong safeties anyway. Let's get started with Will Harris from Boston College. Will Harris is a solid player. He's a strong safety. I think he can play high and low strong safety, like in terms of half the field or whatnot. Some people feel like he can go play a little bit of free. I'm not necessarily buying that. But a solid tackler in most instances. He can be a big hitter. Like if you're coming over the middle, you catch the ball, he'll knock your face off. He'll absolutely do that. But solid in the run game. Is he a fantastic cover guy? I wouldn't go that far as to say so. But I think he's a pretty solid safety. I think if you get him, he could probably be like a rotational guy on your team or whatever. Definitely special teams. He can 100% come in and do that today. Probably be a second, like a second team guy, then work his way into the starting lineup at some point. But I do like him. I just mostly think he's used for the run game. And I tell you what, man, Will Harris is about as simple as an explanation as I can give for some of these guys, because then the list really starts to I think there's a lot of talented guys this year, so the list really starts to get different. But Will is very simple, basic, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You got you a good strong safety. He could probably be a rotational guy. Amani Hooker, who's also a strong safety. It could probably tackle a little better, but what I like about him the most is that he can give you value in the nickel game. I think he can go and play a little bit of slot receiver. I wouldn't call him a hybrid guy. Some people use that word hybrid a bunch. I just think he's a really good covering strong safety. So if you're a defensive coordinator, one thing you want to be able to do is you want to be able to stop multiple offenses with the least number of defensive packages. You know what I mean? So that's why we look for players with a lot of versatility. That's why you want, your weak side linebackers to be able to cover really well. That's why you want your nickel guys to be able to be able to tackle and play the run and also be able to cover. If you can play nickel the whole game and cover 5 wide and cover trips or cover 12 personnel if you want to, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a pretty rare thing. So what you have with Amani Hooker is you don't have to necessarily put him at strong safety. You can play him at nickel corner sometimes. Wouldn't play him there all the time. There's another guy that can play nickel all the time. I'm talking about him. You can put him at nickel corner, and he could be a tackling nickel corner for you, right? Or you can play him as strong, and he can go cover a tight end as the strong. You know what I mean? He'll give you versatility in that way. Like I said, is he fantastic against the run? No, that's another guy that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But I think he's pretty good enough. But he's my number 9 guy. Mike Bell is the last of my regular guys. Like Mike Bell, Will Harrison, Amani Hooker, they're my regular pretty good guys. Mike Bell is a free safety from Fresno State. I think he's a pure free. I think he can give you some tackling ability. He can make some plays. I do like his range, though. I think he has some solid range. He can improve his ball skills, but he does get there. He is able to get there from the middle of the field, and I think that's a pretty rare trait to get to the numbers from the middle of the field. But he's just not a total package type of guy. He's a cool, solid player. Can he come in and play free safety for year one? Sure, I think he can. If your team needs a safety real bad, like can he start for you? Sure, real bad. But if he had to come in and like compete with somebody, it'll probably take him about a year to really develop and really get his legs up under him, right? So let's get into the guys I really like. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, man. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So he's a safety. I think he's a strong safety for the most part. He'll be considered strong. Some people play him at free because he's played some free, but just because you have played there don't mean that that's what you're gonna optimize at or whatever. But boy, you can put him at nickel corner and leave him there. Now, I don't know if y'all familiar with what a 4-2-5 defense looks like. Like the front side guy is a strong safety, but the backside safety guy is like a nickel corner linebacker and safety, like all wrapped up in the same package or whatever. That's Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, right? Like he is a fantastic tackler. He's superb in the run game. We was talking about Hooker, right? Like Hooker could be up and down in the run game. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is fantastic in the run game. He puts nipples on all the titties. Some titties got 2 nipples on them, fooling around with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And if you see him plugged in at nickel corner, he fits right in. He doesn't cover like a safety. He covers like a damn nickel corner, but he tackles like a safety, right? So you can change him in either spot. Don't lose anything in the run game. And you can play nickel and go against like a 5 receiver set. So like, look, how you can run it is, okay, say you go against like 4 receivers and you're a nickel. Then cool, bring it. You can put Chauncey at strong safety, walk him down, and let him cover one of the slot guys. You won't lose, right? Let it be something less than a 4 receiver set. Let it be like trips or something. Cool. You can put like a better tackler or just another tackler at strong. You can put Chauncey at nickel, and then you got even more tacklers on the field, right? So if you go against the run, good, you're not losing nothing with Chauncey, right? But if it's a pass, you still ain't losing anything with him. And boy, oh boy, is he fantastic. I love him. I would love to have him on my team. Just Dallas ain't got a first round pick, so if we're gonna have to get Chauncey, you're gonna have to get him in the second. Well, boy, I want an offensive lineman in the second, but that's Cowboy talk. We ain't talking Cowboys today. Lil Missile, my guy, Lil Missile. So the only reason he's here because I really like him. Darnell Savage from Maryland, by the way, in case you missed it, but I call him Lil Missile. The only thing that puts Lil Missile right here is because he's shorter than everybody else. Than the first 5 guys, right? Like teams value length, okay? And to be fair, sure, length is important, right? And what you don't want is you don't want Lil Missile going out there like, all right, Lil Missile, go cover that 6'8" tight end over there. Like Lil Missile might get 8 up against that 6'8" tight end over there, right? But as far as being a dominant tackler in the run game, sure. As far as being a fantastic cover guy, sure. Zone coverage, get out of here. I think walked up zone coverage in the hook and curl to flats type of area. That's where Lil Missile really excels, right? He keeps his back to the safety, right? He keeps his back to the free, and he just keeps the offense in front of him, right? When Lil Missile has the whole offense in front of him, he gets to just read, and when he sees it, he breaks on the ball like a corner. He breaks on these passes so well, and his IQ is fantastic. His awareness is fantastic. His instincts are fantastic, and he just plays on the ball really. And he's a missile. So if you catch the ball over the middle, if he did miss you catching the ball and you catch it, he's liable to come up and knock you the hell out. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? I really don't care in particular about his size. You know what I mean? I think he can get it done. Combine nerds, would you please? This is the assignment for the combine nerds on this video. Like, Lil Missile is short, but he's like 5'11" short, which ain't too short. But tell me like his length. Like, tell me how much he weighs and tell me how long his arms are. Just on film, he looks smaller or whatever. You know what I mean? And there are some people that feel like because of his hitting or his temperament when hitting, they feel like he's more susceptible to injury being such a little guy. Man, I ain't buying that, bro. We can get him in the weight room, get him a peanut butter sandwich and a banana. We gonna grow his ass up. But boy, am I a fan of Lil Missile. And then there's Big Missile. Big Missile and Lil Missile. The only reason Big Missile is over Lil Missile because he's Big Missile. Now, I think Lil Missile covers better than Big Missile. I think that's the thing. But can somebody hit me with the 40 time in comparison to Darnell Savage, please? I like giving combine nerds homework because they take a lot of pride in bringing information to my comment section. And look, like I learned a lot from y'all. Combine nerds that be in my comment section dropping combine numbers. I learned so much from y'all. So salute to everybody. I'm gonna go down there and like y'all comments. Let me know the comparison of like 40 time weight and length between Jonathan Abram from Mississippi State and Darnell Savage from Maryland. Big Missile and Little Missile. But Abram brings a nastiness to the field. I really like that. I like his leadership. I like him as a tone setter. If you watch my film of him, if you look at him in the Alabama game, he was just starting shit with everybody. Like he was ready to start fights with those Alabama guys. He really didn't like them. But he's fantastic in the run game, and I do think he's a pretty solid athlete. To where he can make plays all around the field. Now, is he a better cover guy than Lil Missile? No. But can you develop Jonathan Abram to be a better cover guy? Sure. I don't think he'll be a better cover guy than Lil Missile because Lil Missile is just so easy for him. It's easy as an instinctual guy for a Lil Missile to, be as a pass defender or whatever. But if you develop Jonathan Abram a little bit more, then you have Jonathan Abram with his athleticism, improved pass defense, plus you get his length in there. You know what I mean? And that's a real big thing. You get his height and length in there. So I think that'll really help. That'll really help Abram. Missile is by far the better cover guy. Missile and Chauncey Gardner, I think Hooker as well cover better than Abram, but I think Abram can develop, and you pair that with his run stopping ability. I think that's the reason why he's there at number 5. Some people got him higher than that, but not on Voch Lombardi's list. Juan Thornhill. So what I like about him is he's a converted cornerback. Like he played cornerback at first, right? So you really get to see his cover skills come to play. You know what I mean? Now let me just say this off the rip, get the negative out the way. As far as a tackler, he is a very willing tackler. He gets to the tackles and he makes a lot of tackles. Like he actually makes the tackle. But it's just that, take a look at my mouse here. It's just that if Jonathan Abram or Lil Missile or Chauncey Gardner is going to tackle you, they're going to tackle you from the belt line up. And they're going to run through you and they're going to bust your ass. Juan Thornhill likes to just kind of grab at a shoestring and hope you fall down. You know what I mean? Now, can that be fixed? Sure, absolutely. But the good things about Juan Thornhill, I think he can play cornerback and safety. Juan Thornhill can play free safety in a cover 3 situation, like I said, just running from hash mark to hash mark. He can play cover 2 strong safety, where it's the middle of the field to just one half of it. He can also play down in the box and go tackle people. He can do some linebackery stuff sometimes. But what I think Chauncey Gardner was really going to get him drafted, not Chauncey, damn, I was looking at Chauncey, Juan Thornhill. What I think is going to make Juan Thornhill a lot of money is that if you're a team and you got corners and safeties already, if you're going up against a good ass tight end or something like that, you can tell Juan Thornhill, hey, go chase that tight end around. If you're going against a nasty ass nickel guy, you can say, hey Juan, go and cover that nickel guy. And also, in my personal opinion, if it's a certain particular outside guy, I would feel good about Juan Thornhill covering that outside guy. Not all outside guys. I mean, I don't want him chasing Tyreek Hill around or nothing like that. But I think there are some outside guys that I feel good about him chasing around. You know, like a number 2 receiver, like a Mohamed Sanu. I feel good about Juan Thornhill chasing around Mohamed Sanu. I feel good about that. You know what I'm saying? So I think Juan Thornhill got the most versatility out of everybody on this list. Let me look down at my paper. Sure, Juan Thornhill got the best versatility out of everybody on this list, and I really like him. But let's keep going. Taylor Rapp, he might be the most in the right place in the right time ass guy on this list, and the only thing that's keeping Taylor Rapp in front of Juan Thornhill, because I swear Juan Thornhill got a lot of traits. The only thing that's keeping Taylor Rapp in front of Juan Thornhill is that I value Taylor Rapp's tackling. And even though Taylor Rapp did run the 4.7, I can appreciate Taylor Rapp being in the right place at the right time all the time. See, Taylor Rapp doesn't win being faster than you. He wins by being there before you get there, taking the right angles and tackling you, right? Or playing on the football. High IQ player, very smart player. I really like Taylor Rapp. He's another missile. Not like Big Missile and Little Missile, but Taylor Rapp does lay some wood in his own right. I really do like him. He's a guy that can play strong safety and some free safety scenarios. Not too many. I wouldn't let him do that. In the recent months, Deontay Thompson has taken a fall. In the draft Illuminati's projections or whatever, but I still got him up in these top 3 guys. I got him as my number 2 guy because if you look at him, he's probably the most ball hawky guy out of everybody on this list. I think he's a true free safety. I think he has range to go from the middle of the field to the numbers. He can get a little clunky when he's turning, but I think that says a lot about his IQ. The fact that he's such a tall, long guy. He's like 6'2". He's such a tall, long guy that he can take an extra step when turning. Like he false steps sometimes, right? But in that though, he's still able to get sideline to sideline. So I think that says a lot about him. I think he's not running his 40 because I don't think he's gonna like what his 40 time is gonna be. But just based on the film. Shit, if you clunky and can get from the middle of the field to the sideline, I think you got plenty enough speed, plenty enough range. So I value Deontay Thompson as an IQ guy and as a ranging free safety. I also think he like I said, that ball hawk ability, man. He can find. Watch him versus Ole Miss, man. Watch Deontay Thompson versus Ole Miss, and it'll really give you a good idea of what you need to see. I think he got hurt towards the end of the season, but as far as making all the tackles, like he ain't just a willing tackler. Like he tackles, like he lays wood, he causes fumbles, like getting all the tackles, like making plays on all the passes, like breaking up stuff, catching interceptions, being around the football. Deontay Thompson is nasty, and I like him there. And he's dropping in a lot of these Illuminati circles, but Voch Lombardi ain't having it. With that being said, Q's Ether. Hey, man, young Nas Adderley from Delaware, man. A lot of people want to talk about the competition that he's played against. I mean, sure, we all had that conversation, but that's what the Senior Bowl is for. And we bring Nazir Adderley in, and we put him against these Senior Bowl guys, and we say, hey, this is the best senior competition in the nation. What will you do against him? And I think Nazir Adderley did pretty damn well against those guys, man. He's my number 1 safety because I think he's a true free, but he also gives you some nastiness in the tackling game, right? I think he's a mean player. One of my favorite highlights of his is he was on kick return. He gives you value in kicking game, by the way, too. It was kick return, punt return, something like that. But he caught the ball, got to the left sideline, ran a guy over, stopped, looked at him, and then looked back up and proceeded to go score the touchdown, man. Like that's a very attitude-y play. But as far as making plays on the football, being able to have range, coming up and tackling, I think he can play free and strong. But if you're smart, you keep him at free. I just think he's able to do both. Very competitive. Nas is my number 1 guy, my clear-cut number 1 guy. If somebody wants to disagree and put somebody else up there, I mean, I totally understand. I feel you. It's not nothing that I'll fuss, holler, get hoarse, and scream about. But young Nazir Adderley is a gangster, and he's my number 1 guy. So those are my safeties, guys. Hey, man, this probably be the last one I do, man. I thought about doing ranking videos for linebackers and tight ends and quarterbacks, but I just wasn't feeling it, man. I'm just not feeling those guys this time around. It is what it is. So y'all can lose out on that. But go check out my other ranking videos, man. Like this video. Go in the comment section. Tell me how you feel. How you feel about these guys. How did I do? How did I rank them? You agree? You disagree? All that good stuff. Hit the notification bell so you know when I drop random ass videos in the middle of the week just like this. Don't forget about the Patreon. It's more important than food and water. All my film sessions get boy, they get demonetized, boy, because I don't really own that footage. So the Patreon is really the one thing that's keeping this thing moving. So salute to all the guys all the guys and gals that's involved in that. And follow me on Twitter, VOCHLOMBARDI, and don't forget to pick up some merch. Y'all hold it down for the Doski Woski and the Peasky Whiskey, y'all. Draft is almost here. Salute.